This is the Leading Ladies Podcast with Karen Gray, the show that takes you around the world to share interviews with some of the most successful and relevant people on the planet. Hear their stories and get the most important business lessons they've learned on their road to success, and get exclusive access on how to implement their success into your life and business. The Leading Ladies Podcast is brought to you by the Strategic Advisor Board and your host, Karen Gray.
Hey, are you looking to scale your business from 5 figures to 6 figures or 6 figures to 7 figures? If you are, I have the perfect thing for you. What I want you to do today is I want you to go download a book. This book is going to take you through my 3-pillar system. It's 100% free. All you have to do is go to growfast.cash. I say again, go to growfast.cash, and you're going to be able to download my free international best-selling book, which is called Be Good, Be Brief, Be Gone. You can take that book. It's going to help you scale your business to the next level. Again, go download it. Be good, be brief, be gone. Growfast.cash. I say again, growfast.cash. Enjoy.
All right. We are so excited for today's guest. She is a CFP doing amazing things as she leads in the world of financial. This is my background as well. Before coaching, I was in financial services, so I understand some of the language and some of the challenges and the hurdles of leading in this very male-dominated space. So I'm excited for this conversation today. So welcome to the mic, Amanda Neely.
Thanks so much for having me, Karen. It's great to be here.
Yeah, we are going to change the world today. I just know it. So, okay, the topic of leading can be something that feels kind of benign, but I believe, and we believe here at the Strategic Advisor Board and on our podcast platform, that it is the cornerstone for how we show up, because how we do anything is how we do everything. I love to know your definition of what does it mean to be a woman who is a leader?
Yeah, I feel like it's kind of a natural thing for me. I've always been a leader, even going back to like school projects as a kid. I was always the one that took the lead and gave the assignments and who's going to do what and followed up with them to make sure they were doing it, but also the one who did the most work, right? Mm-hmm. Leadership isn't just about getting other people to do things. It's also about doing them with them, leading them in it, right?
Yes.
And I think when I remember, I was probably in middle school when I read John Maxwell's like 12 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership.
What?
So weird, right?
Of course
I was a reader.
You're doing all these amazing things. You got a head start on everybody. That's awesome. So did your parents provide you that book, or how did you get your hands on that?
Yeah, my mom was a librarian, so I get whatever books I wanted. But I think I got that one as like a Christmas gift or something, because I have it still from when I got it then.
So were you on like student council, or was there a reason why?
I don't know. Maybe my mom saw that leadership. Well, maybe I'll tell a story about that too as we go. But the part of why I brought that book up was that was when I encountered his definition of servant leadership.
Yes.
And I know lots of people have different opinions about that. Some people hate that idea, particularly for women, because like we shouldn't be serving anybody, right? Like really.
Yeah, no,
but
I
also,
disagree. But
right. But it's like,
I think
for
that's
me,
a human thing. We should all serve.
Exactly. Yeah. And like for that to be how I lead, it just has been the most natural part of it too for me. It's like I lead by not just telling people what to do, but by doing it with them and often for them to improve their future. And actually to bring that to money, like it has been such a game changer. It's not, I'm going to tell you what to do. It's, I'm going to empower you to figure out what to do. And I'm going to lead you in that empowerment. Different way of approaching financial stuff.
Yeah. So, in my experience, and I was not a CFP, so hats off to you.
Thanks.
That's a huge accomplishment. And for anybody to say, oh, it's a piece of cake, they've not attempted to study for that or attempted to do that. So hats off. I was 6'7", 63, 65, 66. So not even anywhere close to CFP. But as you step into those spaces and those conversations where you are doing financial planning at that level and with those designations and that intention to lead, what do you see are the biggest challenges that especially women have to lead themselves in their financial space in with money? Because that was a big, like, that's exactly how I became a coach, was because I saw all of these correlations between the young pageant girls I was coaching and my women who I was coaching with money and leading and advising. So what's been your experience?
Yeah. And I have to start in kind of a funny way of answering this question. There's nothing wrong with women. It's not that women can't do numbers, right? Like, or whatever it is. It's actually, there's something really wrong with the financial system and how it's set up. And what's been true, you mentioned the financial world is
like we just
so male dominated.
Yes.
That it's very masculine in how it's thought about and taught. And, even for CFP studying, it's very like formulas and all the things. And it doesn't have that mindset part of it. It doesn't actually, and it's growing. More and more people are talking about behavioral economics or behavioral finances. And that's so great because that takes us to, what do we want? What do we value? What are our goals? What are our hopes and dreams? And let's build from there. And I got to tell you, women love talking about that kind of stuff. And so if we can define what our goals are, define how we want to lead in our lives, then make our money align to that. That's a much better way of even approaching the conversation. Now, how do I get the biggest rate of return? That's a very masculine question. It doesn't bring that feminine energy. So whenever women are working with financial professionals, I hope whether they're male or female, they're allowing them to express that femininity and build from there. Now, I'm a numbers person. I love numbers. I'm not saying all women are like that, but to embrace that I could actually not just choose what makes most sense logically, but also what's going to bring me joy, what's going to bring me fulfillment. That actually made my numbers even better too.
Yeah. I love that the industry has moved, I won't say it's a huge shift, but a somewhat shift to values-based investing.
I'm sorry, Karen. I'm not hearing you. I'm not sure what happened. Let me see if
I can grab these. So I can still hear me on the mic. So I don't know. Did your speaker change, or let me look at my...
I'm going to try switching my speaker.
Can you still hear me? Testing.
Okay. Now you're back. I guess it's they say they're connected and 100% charged. I'm so sorry. Hopefully
that's okay.
There's editing and everything. I'm so sorry.
We can totally edit. It's all good. No worries at all.
Okay, you're back. Sorry.
Okay. No, thank you. I'm glad you caught that. Values-based. Okay. So rewind. So I'm so glad that the industry has made some strides and is leaning more towards value-based investing, where you can find companies that invest ethically, based on, I don't know, Christian-based, or maybe it's just morality-based, or they're, economy-friendly, or whatever it is. Like, you can find things that are really more aligned, which to me really speaks to the female investor a little bit more, because we do things that make us feel a certain way, or the feminine side of our decision making. And so I like to invest in companies that are aligned with my values, the things that I feel like are important and impactful. So that I have loved about how investments are described.
And then it goes beyond that to how much should you be investing versus saving, and the difference between saving and investing. We have to make sure we acknowledge, like, we might want a bigger safety net than our male counterparts, and that's okay. We don't need to risk everything. Risk does not mean reward. Risk actually means you could lose it all. And that, no risk, no reward is a very masculine idea too, to give permission to be like, yeah, I actually want more safety in my portfolio. And how we build and how we plan those things, regardless of like the ESG investing, love that, but also like, should you even be investing, right? That's the kind of questions and conversations that I think bringing the feminine into the finance allows us to explore.
Looking to grow your business beyond 5 figures, 6 figures, 7 figures plus, what I want you to do is go download this book. The title is called Be Good, Be Brief, Be Gone. It will help you grow your business past 5, 6, and 7 figure. Go download the book today, growfast.cash. I say again, growfast.cash, and download the book for absolutely free.
Yeah, absolutely. But one of the things that was challenging for me being in the industry as an advisor was when I would get overlooked for company. I won't identify the company. I don't want to discredit them. But because it was a managerial decision, when the managers would find their golden boys, quite literally, and they're big clients to them, because I was a single mom at the time, so I had kids, so my hours were a little more restricted. These guys, even though they were married, they had, kids, their wives were helping, and so they could do these things a little more freely. That obviously impacted their decisions, but I would get pulled into offers or conversations with clients when they needed, and they literally called me the designated person in the room. And I'm using purse lightly because sometimes it was another word. And it was those types of mentalities and perspectives in an industry that made it even harder as a single mom to show up for myself, to show up for my kids, to even believe in the company as a whole, because I just saw such a disparity between my values and the values of the leadership I was following or working with.
Yeah.
And I know that there's been others that have had similar experiences being the woman in the room or the woman at the table, whatever the industry was. What has been your experience and how have you overcame that in this financial services world? So I'm trying to be really careful. So I'm pausing and really choosing my words really carefully because I want to keep it professional, and I don't want to I love men. Let me just say this.
Absolutely.
I love men. I am not a feminist. I believe that women can do amazing jobs, and I believe that men can do amazing jobs. But I also believe that people should be respected for the jobs that they do, regardless of race, color, sex, whatever, and given opportunities to shine equally. That's my opinion.
Yeah. I come at this a little bit differently because I've always worked for myself. I have my own business. I have no bosses over me other than mentors and people I choose, right? But I do sometimes encounter that with clients or potential clients.
Yeah.
Where I might meet a woman at a women's networking event, and she's all about I'm like an Amanda. I think we align really well. I'd love to hire her to do our financial planning. And then the husband will never work with a woman. And it's been so hard to overcome that, right? I can't change them. I've got to keep moving on. I actually, one husband gave his wife permission to do a little bit with me. And we did that little bit. And a couple of years later, they got divorced. And she was so glad she had me to come to, because oftentimes when couples get divorced, the woman is left without a financial planner or a financial advisor or anybody, financial ally in their corner.
Yeah. Or even if she's not left without one, she doesn't feel comfortable
with the
other one. Yeah, for sure.
And I've been able to be that person for lots of women. Actually, that's actually a really cool niche to be in, to be if you're getting a divorce, I'm your gal. You don't feel comfortable or you can't stay with their financial person, I'm there. And so that kind of helped me discover that. But also it's I just kind of have to move on, help those that will allow me to help them and walk alongside them. And I'll tell you, there's some really awesome men that I get to work with too. And I love that there's actually one guy who was yeah, I won't work with a man. I'll only work with a woman because you're so detail oriented typically. Right. And I know you're going to take better care of me. And I was okay, we're in. Cause I knew someone that he could have worked with that's closer to where he is and stuff. And I was why'd you choose me? And he told me that. I think there's more, you have to kind of look for those sparkly kind of times and focus on those And anything that's kind of dark, or, you experience that sexism or that racism or whatever it might be for someone, you have to, it's hard, but I try to like have my mind focused on the good times and how I can actually use my feminine advantage to an advantage and
I love
focus
that.
there.
So are you licensed in all states, or where do you reside and where do you serve?
Yeah, I'm in Cincinnati, Ohio, but I work with people. I think we're up to about 30 states. We keep adding new ones as people come to us. And that's kind of fun. We work virtually. It's we're able to, use Zoom and the technology to work with people everywhere.
Yeah. And are you open to like a bunch of different products? Is there any specific product that you don't work with? So if someone was coming to you and they wanted to do day trading with a part of their portfolio, is that something that you can support and advise, or Bitcoin or crypto, or like all the things that are now real estate?
Yeah, my background, I had a business before that we started, my husband and I, and we sold it. And this became my second business. So I love working with business owners. I'm also a real estate investor. So I love talking to real estate investors. I can talk about all the other things, right? What do you think about is happening with crypto? How should I use crypto? How should I avoid taxes? Whatever. But my primary focus is on people who don't want to rely something that's outside of their control, whether it be a W-2 where they don't know how long they're really going to have that, or whether it be the stock market or other kinds of volatile investments. And they want to build some more stability into their portfolio, particularly if they're already taking a lot of risk with business or real estate. And I love coming in and helping make sure they've got that right risk ratio and that they're not taking unnecessary risk to reach their financial goals.
What do you see as the greatest, I don't want to call it a block, but the greatest self-imposed limitation that women in leadership positions put on themselves or have placed upon them?
Yeah. And this relates to finance as well as a lot of other things. It's these words, I don't have the time. And I'll get to that later. Right. Yeah. And it's, I have personally changed that phrase in my mind to, I have time for what's important.
Right.
And if something's important enough to me, I will make the time for it. So whether that be budgeting, cash flow management, managing my portfolio, finding that next real estate deal, growing my business, whether it's playing with my kids, reading a book, taking some personal time all alone by myself, right? Whatever it is, if it's important enough, I will make the time for it. And if I'm never getting to something, it must not be important. Yeah. And that's kind of just like we talked about, you align your money with your values. You also align your time with your values. And I love talking about, they say time is money. It's actually the same kinds of activities that allow us to do both, aligning our time and our money with our values.
Yeah. Yeah. They say that, you're the biggest investment you'll ever make is your home, right? But I say no, like you are the biggest investment.
Absolutely.
That you'll ever make. So what you do with your time, what you do with your heart, your energy, your passions, and how you cover your absence. And I think that's the biggest thing that we have to offer any company, any relationship, any business, is truly we are our biggest asset. So in that, I would love to wrap this up with a little bow of what is the greatest advice that you would have for someone. And I know let's share, you do have a YouTube channel, which I'm sure you are dropping some golden bombs and nuggets on that. So Wealth Wisdom FP for financial planners. So if you're watching this and you're grabbing it on the SAB YouTube platform, you can just pop right over and catch Amanda on her Wealth Wisdom FP show. But for someone that's listening, they're like, okay, now there's all this self-judgment, guilt. I either haven't done well, or I've made some choices and made some bad decisions, or, I rolled it all, lost it all in divorce. got started late, or I have this nest egg and I don't know what to do with it. I'm just keeping everything, basically under a mattress, but sitting somewhere that's not doing much because it's in a CD earning 0.2% or whatever. How do they get started with you? What is the first thing? What would you say is the best way to assess how to move from here to wherever there is for them?
Yeah. And this is why I actually love talking with coaches, because my story was before I was ready to take charge of my financial future, I actually needed to do things like have a date night with my husband, take a couple hours to just be by myself and do whatever I wanted, which was often read a book because I just love books. Yeah. And often we need to give ourselves permission to do something like that. That's just for us, just for pleasure, just to show we can decide we're going to do something and we're going to do it and we fulfill on it. And then we say, okay, now I'm ready to do that with my money. So there could be some people listening who are like, I'm not doing anything for myself. It's all give, do for others, for the business, for, whatever, career, for kids. What if I took a little bit of time to do something purely for me? That might be where you're at. Other people might be like, okay, I've done that. I'm ready to do that with my money now and make sure it's working for me and not for Wall Street or not for the bank or not for the K administrator. I want it to work for me. I love coming in when somebody is ready to do that because I want you to take more control over your financial future and feel more in control and sleep well at night. And if you're ready for that, I'm game. Let's do it.
Okay. So where is the best place for people to find you? Do you live mostly on LinkedIn, Instagram? Where's your zone of social? And then how can they best contact you?
Yeah. Instagram is great, but also LinkedIn. I love LinkedIn. Probably the best thing, though, is our website is wealthwisdomfp.com. You can get our podcast there. You can get, resources and such, but there's also a calendar link. I have a calendar link open for people to schedule a discovery call with me, ask their questions, see what it would be like to work together. You can find it anywhere on wealthwisdomfp.com, and then just make sure you choose me and not somebody from my team to do that discovery call with.
I love it. Well, we're going to tag all of those. So those will all be in the show notes. And you'll be able to connect with Amanda, get some support, work with someone that understands not just who you are as a financial portfolio, but who you are as a human first, and help you have the best life and future possible by making some really intentional plans. So thank you so much for showing up, for how you're serving, how you're leading, and for what you do. We are so grateful. And we will catch you all on the next episode of Leading Ladies.
Hey, we all want to scale our business. Hey, I have the answer for you today to help you do that. If you're looking to scale from 5, 6, even 7 figures and beyond, book called Be Good, Be Brief, Be Gone. I'm going to give it to you for free. All you have to do is type in growfast.cash. I say again, growfast.cash. And you can download the book for absolutely free. I hope the book helps you this year. Take your business to the next level. Again, go grab the book, growfast.cash. I say again, growfast.cash. I wish you the best and grow, scale, and win.
Thanks for listening to the Leading Ladies podcast with Karen Gray. Please leave your feedback and visit strategicadvisorboard.com to get the latest and greatest best business advice on the planet. Follow us on social media for updates, and we'll see you on the next episode.
There it is. Magnum. Holy moly.
Yeah, baby! That's what I've been waiting for!
Dear God, it's beautiful.